Hey everyone, we're going to be talking about 8.5. Oh, might want to use a pen here. This is chapter 8.5, the coordinate plane. Okay, and some of you might know this as the XY axis, so pause the video if you haven't already. You're going to want to take some notes here, especially on this very beginning part. So this is the coordinate plane, okay? So we have different values. So for instance, this would be 1, this would be 2, this would be 3, this would be 4, okay? And this is the x-axis, okay? Now I know we've talked about this, but this is the y-axis. But we usually deal in this segment right here, okay? And we haven't done a lot of things over here because we start dealing with negative numbers, okay? But if we deal right here, then we have all of our positive numbers, and this is what we worked on with the in the last chapter a little bit, okay? So this is obviously a very small one, okay? So now what we're going to introduce you to is with this with integers having negative values, right? So this and this was our y up here. I'm not sure if I said that. And remember, if you ever forget which one's x, which one's y, just remember that y's rise, okay? And then we're going to start having some negative values. So if we just look at just this line, you guys have seen this in your homework because this is your number line, okay? And that this is called the origin. So this is important. And it is at 0, 0. So the x value is 0 and the y value is 0, okay? And this is called an ordered pair, okay? So an ordered pair is like this, where the origin is this little spot right here is 0, 0, okay? So it's 0x, 0 to the right, and 0 left, and 0 up, and 0 down. It is right in the middle. So it is 0, 0. Okay, and we'll talk more about that in a second. And then to the left of this is negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4. And down is negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4. Okay? Negative 4. Okay? So, we have our origin. We have our positive 1, 2, 3, 4 here, positive 1, 2, 3, 4 here, negative 1, 2, 3, 4 on my x here, negative 1, 2, 3, 4 on my y-axis here, okay? These are all just number lines, okay? If you look at it, this is my 0. 1, 2, 3, 4 in the positive direction, negative 1, 2, 3, 4 in the negative direction, okay? And it works the same for the y. Okay, and we're going to talk about plotting points after this, but let's keep identifying things here. Okay, so these are called quadrants, okay? So this first quadrant over here, okay, that's what I'm talking about, quadrant, is quadrant 1. And so they make it like the Roman numeral 1. Okay, this section over here is 2. This section, I'm going to run out of colors, aren't I? I thought I could do different colors, but I don't remember how. This section down here is 3. And this section over here is 4. And that's the Roman numeral for 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? It starts in the right, and it goes clockwise around this way. Okay? What else do we need to make sure you know? That's it. Okay, so again, the origin, you can go back and through. This is the y-axis. This is the x-axis. This is our ordered pair, which is x, then y. Coordinate 1, coordinate 2, coordinate 3, coordinate 4. Or quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, quadrant 4, okay? And that's what you need to know, okay, for this. Okay, so now I've kind of copied and pasted some things, and we're just going to play around here, okay? So let's plot some points. So let's plot some points. Okay, so remember x comma y. Okay, so let's plot the point 3, 5. Okay, so both my numbers are positive. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go to the right 3 because this is my x, right? This is my x, so x is here. Y's values are, ooh, that's an ugly y. Y values are here. Okay, so we're going to go right 3 places. And we're going to go positive y. Okay, we'll do x's will be red and y's will be blue, just to make it easier. So we're going to go right 3 and up 5. And then we're going to make our little point. And our point is going to be 3, 5. Does that make sense? So this black point right here is 3, 5. Okay? Now let's do a new point. Let's do yeah, let's keep that black. All right, let's do I don't know, -3, 2. Okay, so now we're going to go -3. So my x is -3. So I'm looking at my x right here. So I'm going to go which way? Negative. So I'm going to go left 3. So I'm going to go left 3. And now y is up because positive numbers are up, right? So I'm going to go left 3 and up 2. And now I have this point. So this point would be negative. Oh, I was going to keep the color, wasn't I? -3, 2. Okay? All right, now let's plot another point. Let's plot, notice that my x value was negative, my y value was positive there. Okay, now let's plot the point, I don't know, let's see, -5, -3. Okay, so both numbers are negative this time. My x is -5, my y is -3. So let's go to the left 5. And I went a little too far there, sorry, got a little crazy. Okay, I went to the left 5, and then let's go down 3. So my new point, sorry, let's stick with the colors, and down 3, okay? At any point, the good thing about virtual learning is you can pause, rewind, go back and listen to what I just said, because it made no sense, and see if it makes more sense. If it doesn't, then you and I can talk offline. -5, -3. Okay, that's what this black point right here is, -5 on my x, because x goes first, and down 3. So that's my new plot. Okay, now we're gonna introduce something pretty cool here, and we're going to plot. I'm gonna plot what's called the reflection of this one. Okay, now let's see what happens. So we have 3, -5. Okay, so instead of 3 +5, we have 3 -5. So what does that do? Well, we still go to 3, but now instead of up, we go down 5. And so this becomes 3 -5. Sorry, we're not going to color code this. And now I want you to look at this, okay? If this was a pond, the x-axis was a pond, this reflects, in other words, it's the exact same distance away. It's the reflection of this point, okay? So, in order to reflect across the x-axis, so if you're going to reflect across this pond being the x-axis, if it told you to reflect this point, what did I do? If you reflect across the x, you simply make the y the opposite. which was the negative 5. Okay, and what you're going to learn is when we go the other direction, you reflect across y by making the x the opposite. Okay, it's really easy once you get the hang of it, a little confusing at first. So let's reflect. So let's reflect the point, I don't know, let's reflect the point 2, negative 3 across the x-axis. Okay, so reflect 2, negative 3 across x. So first let's plot 2, 3. So don't forget x comma y. So this is my x. This is my, did I just change colors? I sure did. This is my x. This is my y. Okay. So I'm going to plot it. I'm going to go 2 to the right, down 3. Okay, and so my point 2, negative 3. Now I'm going across x. So that means I'm going across x. So just remember that you're always going to do the opposite of the opposite. The opposite, since we're going across x, we're going to do the opposite of the y. When we go across y, we do the opposite of the x. So it's kind of backwards. So the opposite of the opposite, however you want to remember it. But so all I'm going to do is, plus when you graph this makes total sense. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to do the opposite of my negative 3. What's the opposite of negative 3? It is positive 3. So I go 2, positive 3, and my reflected point, okay, is 2, 3. And that would be my answer. So if Big Ideas was asking me the question, I would just say that the answer was 2, 3. Okay? All right, so let's do another one. I'm out of room down here, so let's erase. Wonderful world of digital. Okay, so let's reflect, I don't know. Let's reflect negative 5, negative 1 across the y. Okay, so let's plot it. So we have go left 5 because that's my x, and then I'm gonna go down 1. So my point negative 5, negative 1 is right there. So negative 5, negative 1 is right there. And we are going to reflect across y. So that means I need the opposite of my x. Okay, so the opposite of the x. And x is this one. So what's the opposite of the x? Well, it's 5, right? So 5, negative 1 is what I'm going to need. So 5 is, now remember we're going across this thing. So we're, it's going to be the mirror of this, the mirror of this, or the mirror of this across this is going to be over here, right? And it is. 5, 1, negative 1 is simply right here. And that would be 5, negative 1. All right, ask me questions, send me emails. Take care, guys.